Mike Tomlin stepped down at Pittsburgh.
He did? Is it official?
That's what I keep hearing. So, is he a candidate here?
Holy Mike, wouldn't that be awesome? Only if John takes the Pittsburgh job. Wow, wouldn't that be interesting? I don't know, that thing last week maybe disqualified him for my opening after our kicker missed a kick to let them advance. Good for Mike.
This year, we have seen some of the most iconic coaches of the last 2 decades out of their jobs, either stepping aside or suddenly in demand across the league. And that opens the door for a ton of drama and speculation. And so tonight, we're going to talk about some big names, their futures, and how all this movement could reshape the league for 2026 and beyond. And so I'm going to start with the biggest surprise, or maybe the slowest burning one, which is Mike Tomlin out in Pittsburgh. After 19 seasons leading the Steelers without ever having a losing record, Tomlin has opted to step down following their recent loss in the wild card. Mike Tomlin has been the consistent face of stability in Pittsburgh for years. He's a Super Bowl winner. This isn't your typical fired coach looking for a job situation. He's not even planning to coach in 2026, despite interest coming from teams looking for experienced leadership. And so what makes this fascinating is that he leaves with historic credibility. I mean, the guy never had a losing season, which in the NFL is tough to do. On top of that, he's only 53 years old. And that's not old at all by coaching standards. But the guy wants time away, possibly because of the media, possibly because he needs a break. Maybe he just wants to recharge. I don't know. But whatever the reason, he just wants time away. And so the wrinkle is that Pittsburgh still holds his rights because he resigned rather than was fired. I mean, you hear a lot of these guys like Harbaugh, which I'm going to get to in a minute, who were fired. Mike Tomlin was not fired. So if some ambitious franchise really wanted him back on a sideline in 2026, they'd have to pay for that honor. Yes. Imagine that, a Hall of Fame coach, because Tomlin will go to the Hall of Fame, guys. A coaching legend, still under contract somewhere else, but unwilling to coach. I mean, if that isn't the biggest coaching NFL plot twist of the season, I don't know what is. Mike Tomlin, man, that was quite the thing. Quite the thing. Next, we have John Harbaugh, who was one of the most respected coaches of the modern era. And after 18 seasons in Baltimore and a Super Bowl championship also under his belt, Harbaugh was let go. And so here's the twist there. He's not being overlooked. I mean, there are multiple teams like the Titans, Falcons, Giants they're actively trying to interview him right now as we move forward for their head coach openings. And you can't blame him because he brings playoff experience, strong reputation with quarterbacks. He's a culture first type of guy. And because he just got fired, he's filling the rare role of an elite coach hitting the market with value still intact. And this is one of those rare moments where a proven leader could find all sorts of opportunities. I mean, maybe even pick the best job for his vision instead of taking the first one offered. That's the most likely scenario here, I would have to say. We've also got Mike McDaniel, who you heard me talk about earlier with Detroit. Well, they're not the only game in town. We are hearing that teams like the Baltimore Ravens are lining up interviews with McDaniel for their open head coach position. If Mike McDaniel doesn't want to play assistant coach, if he doesn't want to be an offensive coordinator, he doesn't have to be. He might get a head coaching opportunity. And he's also among the candidates for other vacancies, by the way, including the Titans, including the Browns. But with McDaniel, unlike Tomlin, I don't see him taking a break. I think he's young enough. I think he wants to continue. You've also got Brian DeBoll, who nobody's really talking about. He's a guy who rode high after a breakout first season with the Giants. Then he hit a rough patch, and they were like, yep, you're out of here. Guy lost his job midseason. And if you thought that was the end of the story, well, you better think again. Because he's already receiving head coaching interview requests as well, especially from teams like the Titans. And he's also linked to other offensive coordinator jobs with other contenders like the Eagles. And that's the thing about DeBoll. He's respected for his offensive expertise and quarterback development, even if his tenure in New York didn't end up the way he hoped. And frankly, I'm not sure he should have been fired. So his future could go two different ways. I mean, he could get another head coaching opportunity, possibly with a winnable roster, or a coordinator role on a playoff contender, rebuilding his reputation, starting over. I mean, either path could lead back to a head coaching gig down the line if he thrives, which he's done before. And so I think we need to zoom out and look at the big picture, because this is not your average coaching offseason at all. I mean, right now, veteran legends like Tomlin and Harbaugh are off the board, or potentially off the board, rather. And teams are realizing that experience matters. Coaches who would normally be second choices are suddenly prime candidates, like McDaniel and Dabble included. I mean, there are 8 or 9 coaching vacancies across the league, which is a staggering turnover. I just cannot continue wrapping my mind around how fast football coaches in the NFL and in the NCAA get clipped. It's incredible. So what does it all mean? It means that teams are nervous. GMs and owners are under pressure to correct course fast. They don't want to rebuild slowly. It means the traditional hierarchy of coaching pedigrees is getting disrupted, and it means opportunity for younger offensive minds and defensive coordinators alike. That's what it means. I mean, these carousels aren't just shuffling seats. It's shaking the whole foundation of how NFL leadership works. So I'm going to make some bold predictions, and we're going to see what's what. I think that Harbaugh ends up with a contender, probably one that needs stability more than bells and whistles, just given who he is. I think that Mike McDaniel either takes the job in Detroit or he gets a head coaching gig. I think either way, he ends up with a team that wants offensive creativity. I wouldn't be shocked either way. Either way that goes, I wouldn't be shocked. I think that Dabble stays employed. I think either as a head coach or a strategic offense coordinator. And I do not think that Mike Tomlin is going to coach in 2026 at all. Just given the reporting, given his comments at the presser, I think he's done. Maybe permanently. And maybe when we see him next time, maybe he'll be even on TV. And maybe he'll coach later. Who knows? But I don't think we're going to see Mike Tomlin on an NFL sideline in 2026. And that's exactly the storyline Detroit fans should be watching. Because teams like the Lions benefit when the coaching market reconfigures itself with creativity and experience. This season's coaching carousel isn't just hot gossip. It's a power shift. Legends are stepping down. Rising heads are stepping up. And everybody's figuring out which direction the league is going to face next. And as Detroit fans, we know that coaching matters almost as much as talent does, sometimes more. Buckle up, because I don't think this carousel is going to be slowing down anytime soon. But we're going to be keeping an eye on it.